Hoy there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to Football Talks. I am joined by Bill. Say hello,
Oh,
Bill.
hey!
Dallas had a bye week today, but after this we'll have our normal set of games with Houston, Detroit, and New England, and Dallas. Anyway,
Yep.
we're gonna start with Detroit, which I got to see the second half of the game because they changed it after Mark Sanchez threw a pick six, I believe, or was it a punt return for a touchdown
It
for
was something like that.
I'm pretty sure it was a pick six, and then they just changed it to Detroit, Arizona, because that was a more interesting game. But the score stayed the same for pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, it really didn't move too much. Oh, that game. Where do I begin? Where do I begin with this game? Maybe we'll start in the first quarter. The Detroit defense looked like they didn't come to play in the first quarter, and it cost them the game. They trailed 14 to nothing after the first quarter, and or it was like 14 to nothing or 14 to 3. But the defense didn't look like they came to play in the first quarter against the Arizona Cardinals, who were starting a career second or third string quarterback at quarterback, and you let them get going on offense for two drives, and let them score touchdowns, and that's your downfall. That's your downfall is because your defense couldn't start out the game hot. They started out cold as turkey, and eventually they woke their ass up.
They got two
But
picks off of him, but offense couldn't do much with it.
oh my God, the offense, the offense. Oh my God, the offense. I don't know what is the matter with them. Well, I do know what's the matter with them. I feel like it's just a lack of cohesion because they've all been gone for so long. But they need to play like last year's football team on offense. This is ridiculous. Why is it every year that Detroit one year they have an amazing defense and their amazing offense and their defense is garbage. This year their defense is amazing. All we need is the offense to come and play, and they don't play. It's baffling. You have the Saints offensive coordinator, and I will not allow for Jed Collins on 3rd and 1 to get a fullback draw play. Who thought that was a good idea? You know, it's 3rd and 1 and you're playing one of the best run defenses. Let's hand it off to our fullback. We'll get the first down there. I mean, you have Kelvin Johnson, you have Joique Bell, you have uh, Fourier, you have Ebron, you have Golden Tate, and you run the football with Jed Collins.
It's okay, Bill. Now it's my turn to go on the tangent because I'm talking specifically about Joique Bell, but I'll get to that in a second. The thing is, I have this ever since the first week. I've seen that the offense has not clicked together since then. I don't know what happened. I mean, yes, there have been injuries, but the gang's pretty much all back together now. But even so, Joique Bell had a wonderful game because he ran really well. I'm just surprised they didn't run him more. I mean, I know they wanted to keep the clock like stopping every now and then or get those big yards, but sometimes running the ball and gouging the defense is better.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm going to be honest. If Ryan Mallett can come into Houston and make that offense click together in just one game, albeit he had a bye week, more than Detroit, who had way more than a bye week to get their gang back together, and they're already back together now, save for Pettigrew, I believe, and now Reggie Bush. But even so, it was clear you don't need Reggie Bush for this game. You just needed Joique Bell. But where was he? Save for those runs, he jumped over a defender. I think that was the second time he did so in his year so far, unless that was someone else at the Atlanta game. I'm pretty sure that was him. That
Pretty sure it was Joy.
Yes, you see, the guy can hurdle over defenders, and yet you didn't trust him with the ball. I mean, I know the run game has been weak for this ever since Reggie Bush and him got injured, but come on, you had the opportunity. I think even though they had the best run defense, they were not preparing for the run. More so, they were preparing for the pass, which showed on that game. So you should have done what they weren't expecting, and it should have been the run.
One more problem I have is the center of the Detroit Lions, Dominic Raiola. I have never seen another center in this league. I have not seen a center in this league get knocked backwards on his ass more times than Dominic Raiola of the Lions. He is lit when he's not flat on his ass, getting knocked backwards. He's holding people. Stop holding people. If you're not good, then get out. Just go. It's just getting ridiculous that the Lions put up with inept offensive linemen for as long as they do. It took us 10 years to get rid of Jeff Backus, who was not even that good of a left tackle. They were like, oh, he's such a big. The guy that's filling in for him right now is better than Jeff Backus ever was, and now Dominic Raiola, who consistently every game gets penalized at least one time per game. Does he get either he gets penalized for holding, or he gets penalized for hands to the face, or he gets some stupid penalty per game. It's a weekly occurrence, and I don't get why they consistently put up with this.
All I know is I've already said it before, but I think offensive linemen are going to be high in demand for the next 2 years.
But another gripe about this game. I'm going off on this game because that game was Detroit's to win. Well, it was Detroit's to win if they had any ability to.
And if they won, they'd still be one game up from Green Bay. But I'm pretty sure this week they're going to lose that spot to Green Bay. For now, because Green Bay is going to lose, too, to New England.
But, I mean, they had a chance at winning the game. But that chance that they had at winning the game was spoiled by shitty referees. The referees in that game did not call a single penalty against the Arizona Cardinals for one in the first half. I'm pretty sure they did not get one penalty in the first half. And the Lions, who always have this reputation of being, oh, they're such a dirty team. I wish Ndamukong Suh would have took one of the refs and stomped on him. I swear to God, the referees in the NFL are horrendously bad. Instead of giving them all stupid headsets to listen to, get them all some glasses. Seriously, it's ridiculous. They either need more referees or they need to be referees' calls should be reviewable under the reviewing rules of the NFL. I'm sick and tired of having garbage calls go against the Detroit Lions. Oh, it's pass interference. Well, no, it isn't. You know, you keep giving these teams good, yardage. You know, of course you're not going to win if you got to play against 17 people instead of 12 or 11. I meant 11, and you're playing against 6 referees. I mean, flag, false start. You know, I mean, not like, Arizona didn't jump backwards 2 or 3 times in that game that they could have flagged, but no. They muffed the punt call at the very end of the game. The referees in that game were a joke.
The last thing I'll say about this game is that, well, you have less than a week now to prepare for New England, which you're traveling to, and that's not a good place to be at. And well, you really need to get your offense clicking like before, because there's no way with the offense they have right now, based on how they play, there's no hell way they'll have a chance against New England. I don't even think they'll get a touchdown, even with Megatron.
Well,
There's no way.
it won't matter because all the calls the referees are gonna give are going to go to the New England Patriots. You just watch in this game. I bet you the minute Tom Brady raises his arms, like, oh my God, something happened to one of my receivers, there's gonna be a penalty flag. I bet you any money, and I bet you if you see this game, you'll see it. Oh my God, I've been held. Oh God, someone help me. Oh, I mean, it's a joke. The referees in the NFL are a joke. The replacement referees that they had in the NFL 2 or 3 years ago were a joke. They're just as much of a joke. They're garbage, and they should be retrained over the off season, and they should not be part-time employees of the NFL. They should be full-time employees, and they should not be going off to other jobs. And there's the end of the rant.
Hmm. I see. So, I'm not sure. Because there was last year when New England went to Carolina, Tom Brady actually wanted a flag for, I don't know what it was. It was pass interference on Carolina, but he didn't get it, and the game was over. What would have been the game-winning touchdown. So,
Yeah, and then he ran down the tunnel yelling at the referee.
yep, and because it didn't matter.
I mean, I,
So,
I'm
yep,
in that.
I don't
I'm
think
in
even
that.
his word matters.
Well, it sure seems like anytime the Lions play Green Bay, it's always Green Bay that gets all the calls, and the Lions get nothing because, Mr. Mustache himself, anytime something goes bad for the Green Bay Packers, he throws up his hands. Just look at the whiner Jordy Nelson. All he does, every time he gets touched on a route, he throws his arms and throws a little hissy fit that he got touched.
Hmm. He didn't have to worry about that when he played against Philly, because he didn't. They pretty much play for
They
one half.
They didn't even attempt to play that football game, did Philadelphia? I thought Philadelphia had a chance. But Philadelphia didn't even play defense. Their defense should have never even got on the plane.
Yep. Anyway, can we transition on to the next game to bet to
Oh
more
yeah,
happier
I,
games?
I I need to get to a happier place.
Yeah, you do. Anyway, the Houston Texans went to Cleveland and actually pulled an upset, forcing the Browns to only 7 points in a shocking win, 22-7, I believe. Bill, is Ryan Mallett a good quarterback?
Right, I believe Ryan Mallett has all the ability in the world to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And it all starts with the cannon on his arm and his shoulder right there. He's got a cannon of an arm. Now, the one thing I can see him having an issue with, being a young quarterback, is accuracy. And I think that might have been a little bit of an issue in that game.
Yeah, because he
Uh,
nearly got that first. His first big throw was to Andre Johnson, and nearly got that.
yep, it was just inaccurate, correct?
Yeah, but anyway, Bill, I'm sorry, Bill, but did I not call it? The history repeats itself. The factory of sadness is back up and running again at full capacity.
Yeah,
I wanted to make that joke at the beginning, but I forgot until now. Oh well.
the, I feel the Browns have a good team. I really hope for the sake of Cleveland fans that they get into the playoffs. They really deserve a team
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
but I'm not sure because you have to secure that win, and the problem is they have to play Baltimore again. I think they'll beat the Bengals, but you got to beat Baltimore once. because they beat you once at your place.
Yeah, and going to Baltimore and playing against a team that used to be the Cleveland Browns is never an easy thing.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what they're going to do. But anyway, so going back to Ryan Mallett in the Factory of Sadness, because I'm not going to stop making that joke for the rest of the year, probably forever, because I just love that name. So, Houston did surprisingly well for the pass, but especially the run. Alfred Blue stepped up for Arian Foster and got over 150 yards rushing. No touchdowns, though, but 150 yards rushing. I'm surprised, even though, yeah, the run defense for the Browns is one of the worst next to Green Bay.
Right.
Still, I think for a rookie to go up against a professional team like that and do pretty well. I know, yeah, he had a rough time starting, but once he got going, there you go. The game was won.
Right. I feel like Alfred. I think they got something in Alfred Blue. Uh, Today, in fact, in pertinent news, today, I think Terrence, I think Ben Tate or Terrence West, one of the two, were released by the Cleveland Browns.
It might have been Ben Tate.
I'm pretty sure it was Ben Tate. But
Every time Ben Tate tried to run, J.J. Watt was there. It's like he knew where he was going. But we'll get to J.J. Watt later.
oh man, uh, the the Houston Texans did a good job against that defense, and they hit them where it hurts. They took on that run defense that is pretty terrible, you know, and they just kept hammering and hammering, and when they needed to, and look at the recipe for winning: run, 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 run. Like DeMarco Murray, if you have a running back that can move the sticks, get 6 or 7 yards on first down, or even second down and 10, and make it a short third down, then you have a quarterback that can make short, nice, easy throws. Make it easy on your quarterback. Don't make it hard on your quarterback, and throw on first down, throw on second
That was
down,
the good
throw
thing.
on third
They
down.
never lost faith in the run, even when they had the game tied, and it still showed that they still showed faith in the run. And of course, Ryan Mallett was not afraid to make the deep throw, which some of them are successful. I mean, the ones I think Andre Johnson was happy. Sure, he didn't get a touchdown. I think he'll get one. I think he'll get some only at home games. I don't see him get him in the way ever again. But
I
I know, Bill.
I
I know what you're gonna say.
I feel Andre's gonna want out, and he's gonna get his wish to leave, because I feel like in this draft upcoming that they're going to select another wide receiver in the draft.
I think they're gonna select an offensive lineman, but I think almost everybody is because they're going to be high in demand. It's like, oh, look at Dallas; they're suddenly better because they got better linemen.
Not only better linemen, but they also have a running game.
Yeah, well, they've
I
had
mean,
a running game. They just never unleashed it to this much capacity.
yeah, exactly. That's what they last year. I felt like, just getting off topic, just a tad bit, but it is pertinent to what Houston needs to do. Is in that Denver Broncos game against the Dallas Cowboys,
That was the
had
best.
they ru-
Oh, go on.
had they run the football with DeMarco Murray and ate some clock out to kind of slow down Peyton Manning getting the football, I think Dallas would have won that game.
I won't
But
lie, that was the best game of the main season, not post, because postseason that was pretty much Chiefs at Indianapolis.
yeah,
But
but now if you look at that lesson and you extrapolate it to this game, Alfred Blue is a nice complementary back. When Arian Foster gets healthy, you'll have two really good running backs. You'll have a good young quarterback that you have evaluated. And if you surround a good young quarterback with good running backs, and you surround them with good young wide receivers, that team is set for a while because the Texans defense will get even more legit. They'll have Jadavion, they'll have JJ, they'll have Brian Cushing.
Jadeveon
They have
Clowney got to play this
they
game.
got they got Swearinger. They got a lot of players there.
Actually,
If they
actually, Bill, I might have to change of thought. I don't think they're going to get an offensive lineman. I think they're going to get a bigger secondary player because I think
that's also
that's
true.
their current problem. I mean, the run's been a problem now, but I think the run has been a problem for everybody. And that's something they have to work on themselves, not just pick some player. I think it's the secondary. Like I
I
think because
mean,
they aren't good in the secondary. They don't block the passes like they used to.
you are in the same division as Andrew Luck, and
You need a better secondary for that.
he's only going to get better, and that's a scary thought because he's already pretty damn good,
He's winning a
and he's
Super Bowl in his life, whether you like it or not.
I feel he'll win a Super Bowl within the next 3 years.
I don't think it's this year. If New
Not
England doesn't lose a single game, which I predict they won't, if they
not this year. I don't feel next year either, but I feel once Brady and Manning are out of the way and retired, and that's going to come within the next few years.
I think Manning's got one more year. I think he said he's going to go one more year.
I really think he's done probably after 2015, 2016, but I feel Andrew Luck's uh, is the standard bearer coming up, and it's gonna be a bunch of quarterbacks after that. You know, I I'll go out on a limb right now, and I'm saying that Andrew Luck's better than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I think he is. He's going to get better because he's younger. And like I said, he's going to get better once he learns more.
He's better at running the football than Aaron Rodgers, and he's better at passing the football. I feel Aaron Rodgers has one thing over Andrew Luck: the quick release. He has a lightning quick release, but I feel like Ryan Mallett of the Houston Texans with his arm, he's got that John Elway type arm on him. He can throw that football like 60, 70 yards down the field with ease.
It's just the accuracy that he just needs
It's
to work
just
on.
the accuracy.
But, I mean, well, he trained under Tom Brady, just like Hoyer. That's why they're good right now, because
Yeah.
they've had those years of practice. So, but going off back more into the offense, I think DeAndre Hopkins did well, and then Garrett Graham, the tight end, got his first touchdown thanks to a referee blocking one of the players, and you can't get mad at that because the refs are considered like grass on the field.
Yep. Just knock him over and walk all over him.
Yeah, but moving on to the defense now. J.J. Watt had a rough start. He got flagged 2 times for roughing the kicker,
Yep.
and one of those, the second one, I believe, led to the touchdown, the only touchdown. But he was pissed, and the fans were taunting him. So what does he do? Sack the quarterback once, tackle once. I know he got Ben Tate 2 times.
Yep.
Forced a fumble 2 times on Hoyer and actually got the fumble back. So yeah, Watt had a good game. I mean, he didn't get that many sacks. He doesn't get as many sacks anymore only because they usually double team him. But
Yep.
but it doesn't matter. They usually the sacks he do get are important, are sometimes key to the game. So we gotta give Watt credit. Jadeveon Clowney actually played for a limited amount of starts. Usually played for the big third downs, like where they were likely to throw the ball. He got deep penetration, but he just couldn't get past some guys.
Correct.
Because I think he played the tougher offensive lineman. They actually put J.J. Watt on the weaker ones. So
Right.
for Clowney to actually go up against that, I mean, give the guy credit, but he just doesn't have sacks yet. Once he gets sacks or a turnover, then they'll start talking about him again. But until then, yeah, it's not. I mean, he's just gonna have to get better from here.
I feel I feel like the Houston Texans defense will get better from there. I feel Clowney will get better from where he is. I mean, he's been gone for most of the year. but I feel like if he's healthy, he's going to be a scary player.
There were two times where I could swear that Houston could have picked the ball twice, and that was that one guy who nearly got it. And he like tipped it in the air to himself and nearly picked it up.
Yeah,
That
I
would
mean,
possibly could have sealed the game a lot earlier.
it very possibly could have. I mean, the Houston Texans they outplayed Cleveland. They seemed to want that game more, and they played really well. I mean, Cleveland just played flat out like they didn't seem interested in winning that game.
And they needed to win that game because it will matter if they don't make the division for a wild card when you gotta beat your AFC opponents. I mean, the NFC they're not you can lose a few of those more, but you can't lose your AFC opponent to your AFC opponents. So
Correct.
Houston has beat their one team on this side, but I'm I wasn't thinking that they could beat this team. I thought they could beat the Bengals, but I'll explain that when we get to our picks. The last thing, Bullock missed another field goal. I mean, he got the other two, but I mean, I know it was from plus 50, but oh man, dude, I thought he was improving still. I keep saying it, but he needs to either get better or we need to pick another kicker. But
Right.
I think above all else, we need a star secondary player. That
Yeah.
that way it makes the opponent or the whoever the quarterback is all too predictable. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I can't throw to this guy. I can't throw to my Dez Bryant or my Calvin Johnson of my team, so I'm gonna go to the next guy.
Those type talents only come out once in a blue moon, do Dez
I
and Calvin.
I know, but you know what I'm getting at. Basically, your star receiver, your
Yeah.
best receiver. So like, if you take him out of the picture, then the quarterback, you know where he's gonna throw, so you know where to either block the pass or pick it off. Like most of the
Correct.
time, but anyway, moving on from Houston and Cleveland, New England Patriots went to Indianapolis, knocking the Colts on on their butts and beating them 42 to 20. Now all of a sudden, because New England beat Indy, Houston is back in it, though it's unlikely. But I did want to talk about Houston's schedule, but I think I'll wait till the picks. So I wanted to
I
save
mean,
that.
you okay. Uh, that game was quite an interesting game. It was a very interesting game because Indy played the Colts. New England played the Colts how I think every team should play the Colts. You don't have to really worry about their running game, so they're a one-dimensional team, and you take away their best option. And their best option on that team is T.Y. Hilton. You take away T.Y. Hilton, you take away the deep threat. Then what are they left with? A 36-year-old wide receiver in Reggie Wayne that can't get up the field very fast. You got a bunch of other decent wide receivers, not great wide receivers, like Hakeem Nicks, and you got the two tight ends, Dwayne Allen and Kobe Fleener. You take away Ty,
And then they
and
lost their runner, apparently, right?
yeah, I think he suffered a broken leg, and he is out for the year.
Oh man,
So
that's gonna well, it's gonna help Houston. But anyway, go on.
the backup running back is actually the running back they traded for last year and gave up a first round pick, Trent Richardson, a former Cleveland Brown. Oh man,
He's gonna have to
it's just
step up.
it's like a 6 degrees of separation here. Holy crap!
We're just bringing
But
it back. We're just bringing it back around, aren't we?
back to the Houston Cleveland game. Oh my God! But Trent Richardson might want to prove himself. So what better way to prove himself than actually start running the football? The Colts are not very good at running the football. They haven't been since Donald Brown left them.
If they had a running game, gods, they would be unstoppable on offense. Because like what? Imagine if you had Demarco Murray on their team, they'd be unstoppable
Uh,
on offense.
I mean, and then just think if you had a running game and you you can hand it off two or three times, and eventually you can do bootlegs off of that. And if Andrew Luck likes what he sees, he can run off. He can run down the football field like 30 yards off that. If you give Andrew Luck a running game, it's going to be scary what he can do.
Yeah, because he can, unlike Aaron Rodgers, he can actually run.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Rodgers is an adequate runner. Andrew Luck is an above average runner.
He just prefers not to run. Imagine if he did prefer to run. He only
I
runs when
mean,
he needs to, or when he feels he
exact.
needs to.
He's a 6'4", 200 and something odd pound battering ram of a quarterback that's running down the field, and he's smart running the football too.
Yeah, because he's just running for the first down. He's not gonna go run for the touchdown unless he literally sees it that sees the chance. He's not. He doesn't take the bold. I mean, it's conservative, but it's the good kind of conservative because you get what you need, not get
I
what you want.
I always laugh thinking about the draft of between the choice between Andrew Luck and RG3. They're like, "Oh, is RG3 better than Andrew Luck?" Not even in the same league. They're not even in the same league.
And they're going to play this week, I think, or in a couple
And
weeks.
yeah, Andrew Luck is the Peyton Manning of the draft. RG3 is the Ryan Leaf.
Don't know who
And
that is, but continue.
he was the draft pick right behind Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning went number 1, Ryan Leaf went number 2. Many people had Ryan Leaf as the best quarterback in that draft.
Not anymore.
Ryan Leaf was a giant bust. And I'm comparing RG3 to a giant bust.
Yeah, because getting injured so many times.
But
Continue.
getting back to the New England and Indy game, the most surprising thing was Jonas Gray.
Oh yeah, dude, you got a guy off of the practice squad and just decimated when people considered the Super Bowl contender, a potential Super Bowl contender, and just knocked them on their ass. Yeah, this guy's good.
Yep.
This guy's a keeper. I mean, and they had a pretty okay run defense. I mean, they could stop Arian Foster, though they needed a lot more linemen to do so. But regardless, you saw what happened. They did,
Right.
like, Jonas Gray got about nearly 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Almost all the touchdowns were his. And the other one was Rob Gronkowski, but we'll get to Gronk later.
Jonas Gray played out of this world for that team.
For
He
for
went
a first game too.
he went off, and I am so happy for a player to work his way from where he was to doing that and helping that team with the best, one of the arguably the best quarterback in the league.
Yep. So, I mean, Brady did not have his best game. Hell, there are 2 times where he threw picks I think he could have avoided. The first one was bad, but the second one was even worse. He didn't even look down the field. He just threw it. That was picked off because really it should have been 13-42. That touchdown was only because of that stupid throw of Brady. That's the one bad thing I'll say about him because that second pick especially was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Should have just taken the sack and lived for another play.
Uh, I mean, all the greats do it, but I mean, in the end, overall, the game wasn't even really close as what the score even said. Really.
At the half, it looked close, but then it just took off. Even though the Colts adjusted for the run, they had more people focused on Gray.
Yeah. They just still couldn't stop him, and that to the credit goes to the Patriots' offensive line. The Patriots' offensive line is starting. It has been gelling since the beginning of the year, and they finally put it all together. In the last like 6 weeks, and since then they've actually been on that winning streak. After that debacle of a Kansas City game.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody's praising Bruce Arians and the Cardinals says, "Oh, we've lost so many good players and whatnot," but these guys have lost some. They've lost one of their captains on the defensive side, and the defense is still playing really good.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I just don't know. Just give credit where credit is due, and of course, Gronk. You could not forget Gronk. He got that good touchdown.
He he went a little. You know what he reminded me of? He sort of reminds me of the Incredible Hulk. He just went into rage mode, and he just on that touchdown that he scored. I mean, it's like his eyes turned green. He just was throwing people down. He's like Hulk smash and throws Indianapolis Colts out of his way to get to the end zone. I mean, seriously, he looked like he was out of his mind.
I mean, well, why do you think we make the jokes of Gronk smash
Exactly.
or I am Gronk?
Exactly.
I make Groot jokes. He's like, I am Gronk. That's all he'll say.
I'm-
But I mean, I did not know about this, but when I saw like on the pregame show for when that touchdown Gronk got in the Broncos game, he went up against Von Miller, and he thought that was a good matchup. See, I don't even think Richard Sherman would be a good enough matchup for him.
It'd be interesting to see Gronk against Richard Sherman because if you saw at the end of the game what Gronk did to one of the people that was pissing him off, he took him and drove him into the sideline,
Into the camera.
into the cameraman. It would not be a pretty sight if Gronk got a hold of Richard Sherman, because I think Gronk would probably snap him in half.
Oh yeah, probably. Because I mean, let's be real. Gronk is to me like the J.J. Watt of the offensive side. I mean, they've got similar body structures, and they were both tight ends, except he's now a defensive end, Watt. But I mean, imagine you put Gronk on the defensive side, he'd probably snap the quarterback in half.
I mean, literally, he would tower over a lot of players. I could just imagine him picking up a offensive lineman and going, "Get out of my way, Tubby," and throwing him.
Oh, throw him at the quarterback, get sacked by your own player.
Could you imagine, like, poor, Ryan Tannehill seeing one of his Dolphin players flying through the air? He's like, "Oh my God, a fat guy's flying in the air towards me!"
That probably might happen since they're going to play the Dolphins for a grudge match.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one too.
So, anything else to take away from this game?
Just that that my AFC title game is still on, but I think we all know who might be the Super Bowl team.
Yep, I'm pretty sure it's the Patriots, which I'm okay with because I like the Patriots. But the NFC side, I just don't know. I want to say Arizona, but as much as I know you won't like this, Bill, but I'm thinking Green Bay at Arizona might happen if the Lions don't pick up their offensive slack, because the defense is doing great. I think they're fine. They do their job for the most part. It's just the offense needs to click. But anyway,
talking about the game.
Before we go on to anything else that happened this week, because Bill, I'm sorry, but we have to talk about the Rams for a moment, but we'll get to that in a second. In fact, screw me talking about it in the picks. Let's go to the AFC standings right now. The Patriots are above the Broncos and the Colts. The Broncos are number 2 only because they beat the Colts, right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah. So, with that said, now the Colts are only one game above Houston. Houston has to beat the Bengals. They'll beat the Titans at home, and they'll beat Jacksonville because Houston has a schedule really working for them even today. Their only rough home game or away game left is at Indianapolis, because at Jacksonville will be a joke. The only rough games they have now are thankfully at home. They got the Bengals right this week, who I have my pick for, Bill, and and then the Ravens, because if they beat the Ravens, because really they won't have a shot. I don't think they're getting it, but if they just want to have it, because you never know, makes it more fun that way for the into hunt section for the wild card. They have to beat the Bengals and they have to beat the Ravens because the AFC North is just shaping into anybody can get in, and it really will come down to the final game. And who wants? It might even get so technical. It's like whoever scored more overall points than the other team will get in. I don't know because there's so many ways to get in. So
Oh yeah.
it's almost inevitable that it could possibly be an AFC North team. So
Right.
because I mean, if it's not them, I think Kansas City is going to get a spot now. I think I would have to change if I could change my pick for a wild card. I think it would be Miami and Kansas City, but Miami has to lose more games because, well, I don't know. They're playing the Broncos, so good luck to them. Anyway, so Houston has to beat the Colts once, or else they're not getting in. Because let's be real, you have to beat the Colts because that is a must-needed win. They have to win all their games just for a shot because they're 5 right now. They've lost 5 games. And what did you say, Bill? What's the magic number for the AFC?
10 wins.
I thought you said 11.
Well, AFC is shaping up to be 11, but typically if you're 10-6, you're in good shape.
Yep, and hell, even if you don't make it 10-6 to bounce off from a 2-14 record, I mean, Andre Johnson can't be that mad, can he? But anyway, so with that, I think Houston has to really get their act together because they've got 2 weeks of home games, so there's some good news. But it's just the away game, that one away game that I'm really worried about because the Ravens can play good and bad too. They're inconsistent lately, but not as much as the Bengals. But we'll get to that in the pick. So, yeah. As for everybody else, Detroit is tied with Green Bay, though they're gonna likely lose it for a week because after Thanksgiving, then it's Green Bay's turn to go have some fun with New England, even if they're hosting them. It's not like New England's afraid of a little cold weather like Mark Sanchez was. They thrive in the cold too. Sure, maybe it's colder in Wisconsin, arguably, but nothing. It won't stop Gronk.
Well, typically it's colder in Wisconsin than it is in Boston.
Yep, but really, it won't matter. You're not freezing Gronk or Tom Brady over. Anyway, so any other games worth discussing, Bill?
I mean, besides St. Louis Shock and Denver, and really that was just a factor of St. Louis's defense coming to play and St. Louis's defense just being overall really good.
That's the lowest Peyton Manning has ever scored since the playoff game against New England, I believe. It was
But
20-3. Wait. I'm
the
sorry, Bill. Hold on a sec. What? Sorry about that. Continue, Bill.
uh basically it was a thing of the St. Louis defense holding Payton in check. And the bad news coming out of that game is that the Broncos lost Monte Ball to his groin injury again. He re-aggravated that groin injury. So they're down to their third string running back right now, C.J. Anderson.
Well, let's be real. They never really had a run game.
They don't really have that good of a run game, but it's
They,
still
they don't. Yeah.
Peyton still uses it to keep teams off balance. And without, Ronnie Hillman or Monte Ball out there, they just didn't look good. And that's a credit to the St. Louis defense. The St. Louis defense came to play. You gotta give them the credit that they deserve. And, they beat a really, really difficult team to beat.
Bill, I'm going to be honest. I think that they're just going to upset every big team. It's like, I think, screw the minor teams. Let's go after the big teams. We'll go to play for those and just screw around with them. Because, I mean, I think they'll beat Arizona next time. Because, I mean, I
Remember,
what?
remember, a few weeks ago, I did say that if St. Louis was playing in any other division, they'd be in first place.
Yeah. In fact, let's switch them over with the with the NFC South.
God Almighty!
I think.
You put the Atlanta Falcons in that division, they would probably get absolutely dismantled.
Yeah. So what was it? Okay. So Bill, the thing what I'm thinking is, the Rams just go are like the demo man. I've said it to you before, but they're just they go against teams that look like they have a clear bridge to the playoffs, and then they blow it up. And usually you'll lose a player with them. And even if you win, you're likely going to get scarred with something. So even if the Broncos won, they just lost. They still lost their players. I think they lost. Who else did they lose for like a week?
They lost Julius Thomas in that game. They lost. There was a few players that they lost in that game.
Yep, I think they lost a defensive player. I don't know, but
I don't remember who it was.
yeah. And then I think that's all I can really think of for that game. But that's just upset of the year. That if you made up like an entire top 10 upsets list, that would be number one so far.
And St. Louis would appear in a lot of spots in there.
Oh yeah, I mean they upset the champs. See, they beat both Super Bowl teams. I just realized that they
Yep.
beat both the Super Bowl teams.
And last year, the Rams were the only team to really give Seattle a run for their money.
And they still do.
I
So
mean, but overall, the rest of the week was about what I expected.
yeah, I expected the Chiefs to beat Seattle, and they did. They dethroned the champs as well. So that's good for me because I believe neither the 49ers and Seattle are going to get in the playoffs. So
I need Seattle to keep losing like they are.
I need both of them. That betters the Cowboys and Detroit Lions losses in case. But
Yep.
anyway, moving on to our subject. Okay, Bill, you ready to talk about defensive Pro Bowl and special Pro Bowl teams?
Oh yeah. Now the one caveat I'm gonna have for this, for my side, is that I'm picking for defensive linemen, not singular defensive linemen, because I don't know everybody on the defensive side of the ball as well as offensive side of the ball. So my caveat is I'm picking teams, uh, and then I'm gonna single out a specific player from that. All right.
All right.
So my AFC defensive line is the Houston Texans, specifically J.J. Watt. What can you say? J.J. Watt's just the best player, the best defensive player in the league this year. Period. Bar none.
Yeah, there are other people saying, "Oh, what about these guys who got more sacks?" But it's
Sacks are a useless statistic.
when it comes to touchdowns and fumble picks or interceptions, those matter more.
I go by the eyeball test. Look at who you think. Now, if you look at the guy that's having the most sacks and you look at the guy that's impacting the game every play, I will go with the guy that's impacting the game every play, and that's J.J. Watt. The guy that's getting 20 sacks, that's 20 plays. Big deal.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
are those your players, or you have more?
And on the NFC side, I have the Lions, specifically Ndamukong Suh.
That's defensive
because-
tackle, though. But yeah.
Yeah, that's defensive lineman.
Okay.
You know, I'm
Well-
going defensive tackle, Ndamukong Suh, and he plays for the Lions. Big, strong, nasty, mean, everything I want in my Lions team. He exemplifies that. I want him to be around next year, and I want him to sign a huge contract. I don't care what we need to do to keep him. Keep him! Keep Ndamukong Suh!
All right, then it's my turn. I have specific players for the defensive ends. I've only got 3, but they're all AFC because I don't know any good NFC that have caught my eye.
I have Cameron Wake for Dolphins. I mean, if you know Pokemon, you know exactly what nickname. I want to call him Crasher Wake. If you played Pokemon, you know who I'm referring to. And then for Denver, I have Denver's DeMarcus Ware. I mean, I've been biased to this guy since I was a kid. So,
Right.
yeah. Even though I still wish he was with Dallas. Bad move on your move, Dallas, but whatever. And, of course, J.J. Watt. What else can I say? I already talked about him so much, it's irrelevant. I mean, he caught another touchdown today. If he keeps that up, say if he got a touchdown every game, he would be on track for offensive MVP.
Oh my
That
God.
would be hilarious for a defensive player to take that, which I don't want that to happen because I want Golden Tate to be offensive.
True.
As for defensive tackle, I have the Donovan Sue, like you said, which I believe he's good, and I have another Houston. I think he's a defensive tackle. No,
Okay.
no way, he's not. I don't think. Apparently, he's not. Oh well, but I guess that's for another thing, another spot. Anyway, I have another AFC player, and that is Poe from Kansas City. I like this guy especially.
Oh, yep.
I liked him since last year, and if I had a fantasy team, he would probably be before Jonathan Sue came around and made more of a bigger name. I would have picked Dontari Poe.
Don Poe is pretty legit.
I don't. His numbers aren't as good, I think, compared to last year's, though I don't remember them. I think he's good still. Keep him. Same with the Chiefs. Chiefs need to keep their defensive players because they're playing good.
Correct.
Anyway, let's go with the linebackers.
Linebacking core that I picked out, and I'm gonna name three. I'm gonna just say the three linebackers I would pick. All right, and it'd be Rob Ninkovich of the New England Patriots. He affects the game in numerous different ways. He's just everywhere for the Patriots team. I would pick DeAndre Levy of the Detroit Lions. I mean, what more can you say? He's just a beast. And just imagine if Tolik was still on the team and didn't jump up and celebrate and blow out his knee.
Is
And
he out for the season?
yep.
Wow.
And the third player that I have is Luke Kuechly of the Carolina Panthers. And while he's not been playing the best because that defense hasn't been playing the best, he's still a young, mean, nasty player. I wish I had him on my team, because he's everything I want in a player. He just plays smart. He plays aggressive. He plays mean. He plays nasty. I would like him on my team.
Hmm. I've got three. One outside linebacker and one inside. My only outside is Dante Hightower. Him having to step up and become the new captain because the actual captain, I forget his name, is now out for the season.
Right.
I think he's done pretty well, and I mean he's always did well even before that. But I think he's doing solid enough for me to pick him. My next person is which I'm still not finding this guy on the list. So oh well. But the one I do have already thought about was C.J. Mosley. I
Okay.
think he's one of those good defensive players that I could remember off the top of my head for the Baltimore Ravens. He's got a lot of tackles, and he's picked off quarterbacks twice, which for a linebacker you don't see as much as that as you used to. And then for my third one, I have where is he? I want to make sure I have his name. Oh well, I don't see him, but the other I get, but oh here he is, Rolando McClain. If he's just come out of the shadows and just given the Dallas defense a little better spark than they used to. I mean, he got two picks, especially one of them was important for against Seattle. So because of him they dethroned the champions. He's played pretty solid in my opinion. I don't know. I like the guy. I'm glad he's with Dallas because they needed any good defensive player that they could get. Let's be real here. Yeah, I can't find the other guy, even though I saw his name. Oh well. I mean, there's always players like Von Miller, but I'm thinking, no. Oh wait, I found him. Alec Ogletree. I think he picked off Peyton Manning. He's done well every year. I saw him last year when he played Houston. I think he picked off Schaub or whoever. I don't remember.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, there he is. Yeah, Alec Ogletree. But oh well, I have more. Whatever. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go to cornerbacks.
Next up is cornerbacks, and I have 3 picked out, and 2 of them are AFC and one's NFC. The corners I have picked out are Darrelle Revis of the Patriots, because he's back to being Revis Island. I have the safety of the Seattle Seahawks, Earl Thomas, heavy-duty hitter, and he's always at the right place at the right time. And I have, from the Oakland Raiders, Charles Woodson, because he's the best corner in the league, even at 7 or 8. And he's a surefire Hall of Famer, and he deserves to go to Hawaii to really be the lone bright spot in an absolutely miserable season in Oakland.
Yep. Okay, so for cornerbacks, I have the obvious. I have actually quite a few of these guys. I've got the obvious Patrick Peterson. I mean, you put Des Bryant and Megatron at bay. What more can you say in a good defense that is the Cardinals' defense? Next, I have Brent Grimes, who picked off Megatron, ironically. I think he's got the most picks in the whole league. He's got 5. Which I don't know if that's the most for an individual. Maybe. But I've never seen the 5 until now, so I don't know. So, yeah, I got Brent Grimes, and then I have Aqib Talib. He's with the Broncos, I believe? Yes, he is.
Yep.
I think he's solid. I could have sworn he was on another team before. Was he?
Aqib Talib was on the Patriots last year.
Ah, yeah. It seems every Patriots player goes to the Broncos. Well, I think everybody's going to the Broncos because they believe that they were the team to go to the Super Bowl again. But yeah, I think that's everybody. Looks like it. Yeah. All right. So for safeties, what do you got?
The special teams?
Well, no. Wait, you didn't say safeties, or you already picked them? I thought.
Safeties are part of corners.
All right, then I didn't pick the safety players. I got them. I had enough from the cornerbacks alone.
There's secondary.
Yeah.
Secondary encompasses both corners and safety.
Well then, do you mind if I pick the actual safeties, the strong safety
ahead.
and the free safety?
Yep. I picked Earl Thomas earlier, so.
Yeah, I got James Ahedebo. How do you say his name? His last name?
James Ahedebo. I can never pronounce it right. Ahedebo.
Ahedebo. They say it.
Yeah.
I don't know how the announcers get it right.
Ahedebo. That typically they just go Ahedebo.
Yep, say it so
Just-
fast you can't really have a chance to correct it. So I have him and Glover Quinn. I like Glover Quinn. He's probably my favorite safety to watch, along with DJ Swearinger. So I would take both of them to Hawaii. I could swear when I see the Pro Bowl it says Arizona. Are they both playing now in Arizona, the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
Because I honestly
I think that
Yeah.
I think they kind of change it around. I don't see why they're not going to Hawaii. It was always tradition, but
yeah, give the damn state a point.
anyways,
So next I have, like I said earlier, DJ Swearinger. He's young. He's still got to improve and got to control his emotions. But I think when he gets older, he's gonna get better than he already is. So I'll take him. But that's the only one I can think of because I can't see Houston, the Houston guy for the Chiefs, the one he had the last name Houston. I don't know who he is with or what position he is.
right.
Oh well. Anyway, let's go to special teams. Who do you have?
Special
Who do you have for kickers? Because I've only got two field goal kickers.
special team kickers.
Yep.
I have one. The kicker I have selected is Rob Goskowski from New England, and Chandler Canzaro from the Arizona Cardinals.
Wow. So no reasons behind it, or that's it?
Canzaro came in pretty ice cold in his veins, water in his veins, man, for being a rookie kicker. I appreciate good kicking, and that kid can kick. And bad kickers like any Detroit kicker. I wish I had Chandler Canzaro.
It might not have mattered. They would have fallen into the same curse, it seems, because, well, Matt Prater's a
Uh,
Pro Bowl kicker.
are we doing punters as well right now?
Oh, no. Well, I have one punter, but I'll get to my kickers. I have two kickers. Field goal kickers, I have Goskowski as well. But my other one is Dan Bailey. I think Dan Bailey's on track to be the best kicker in the history of the league, which won't surprise me at all, and I'm totally okay with it. So yeah, he's personally my favorite kicker. I had a lot of faith in this guy when I saw him, and boy, am I glad I got it right.
Oh man.
And for my punter, I just have one, and that is the Houston kicker, Shane Lechler.
Leckler?
Yeah,
Yep.
Lechler. He kicks the farthest, and that, especially when you're deep in your own end zone or near that, it's good to kick it far away to give your opponent not the best, not the best to start with, as much compared with your average punter, which is good.
I have Oakland's punter because seriously, he's got a lot of he's got a lot of punts under his belt, and he deserves to go because obviously that'll be the best team he's ever going to be on. And on the NFC side, I've got the Giants punter. I don't even know his name,
That's all I've.
but he's never had a punt block.
So, we're just going to pick a whole team for who is the best special teams. Who do you have?
I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
I have the Philadelphia Eagles as well because they can block punts, normal punts, not like punts from the end zone. You can't, or the other, you know what I mean. You can't block those kind of punts or whatever when you
They
score.
can do a lot.
They can do a lot, but they haven't been doing it that much. I think because every team's ready for that now. It's like you saw it for
Right.
3 weeks in a row. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna let that happen now.
Oh man.
Anyway, we have that settled. Bill, it's time we go to the picks.
Indeed.
Start us
All
off.
right. Well, we already picked the Thursday game. We both said the
Kansas City Chiefs.
So the 1 o'clock game, it starts out with the Cleveland Browns at the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons are gonna lose, but if it makes them feel better, at least New Orleans will lose too. I have the Browns. They're gonna bounce back. Hoyer's gonna look good for a little longer.
Yeah, I feel like the Browns will bounce back. I feel like Hoyer's just not doing enough to stave off Johnny Manziel. Next up, the Tennessee Titans at the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Titans actually played pretty well against Pittsburgh, so there's that. But moral victories don't mean to an actual win on your standings. So I've got Philly, who played like trash against. They played like trash against the Green Bay Packers, but I believe they'll bounce back and actually win this. I have the Eagles.
I have the Eagles stomping the Titans. Very easy win for them. Next up, the Detroit Lions at the New England Patriots.
I'm sorry, Bill. We predicted this since before the games began. I believe the Patriots are no longer going to lose a game for the rest of the year. I have New England just stomping Detroit.
I wish I had better news for my city, but the Lions will lose against the Patriots.
And Green Bay is going to take over as number one.
Next up,
Sorry.
Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings.
Like I was saying, Green Bay is going to now take the lead and become in first place for a week because when they're going to play the Patriots right after, and they're going to get their asses handed to them. So enjoy this week while you can, Packer fans. You've been waiting for it, and here it is. Green Bay will win.
Oh man, the Viking horn will sound, and a deluge of snow will get the Packers bus stuck, and they will forfeit the game. No, but I really want the Vikings to win, so I'm saying the Vikings. I just want the Vikings to stab those cheese hats, man.
I want to melt the cheese hat and make some nacho cheese. God damn it!
Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, goodbye. Rest in fucking pieces, Jacksonville. The Colts are going to bounce back and shut out Jacksonville. I've got the Colts winning.
I got the Colts winning big.
All right.
Oh man.
Next up.
Next up, Cincinnati Bengals at the Houston Texans.
Let me go off on this short tangent, Bill. While the Bengals play really good against NFC teams, except for the Panthers, which they tied with, but that's okay, we don't count that. They seem to play really bad against some AFC teams. They should have lost to the Ravens, in my opinion, with that flag was not... I did not see the point of that.
Right.
They got their asses handed to the Browns at their place, and they're supposed to not lose at the Jungle. And they got they got shut out at Indianapolis, and they got spanked by the Patriots at their place, or at New England. So with that said, because it depends if we get good Andy Dalton or bad Andy Dalton, and I think we're getting bad Andy Dalton. They bounce back for a week. They're safe for now, but Houston at their place in their loud stadium, they're going to get a taste of their own medicine. Houston will win in my supposedly upset of the week. But I have two upsets, I believe. I've got the Houston Texans.
I've got the Cincinnati Bengals winning. I think they're done put everything back together, and I think this is the week it starts coming together for
That's
Cincinnati.
what we thought against Cleveland, and you saw what happened, Bill. So
Yep. I've been wrong before, so let's hope for another being wrong. But
let's go.
speaking of being wrong, the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills.
The Jets had a bye week, I believe. They needed it.
Yeah.
It's still not enough. You could have given them 3 bye weeks, and they still can't win. Buffalo Bills going to take care of business, and Kyle Orton's going to have his doubts erased for a while.
See, this is a battle of two people I despise, Rex Ryan or Jim Schwartz. And I equally don't like both. But this year, just because of what happened, I'm picking the New York Jets over the Buffalo Bills.
Bill, we thought they should have won when the Jets hosted them. They're not hosting them this time. It's over. Next game.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Chicago Bears.
Oh, man. Okay, so it looks like there are 2 games Chicago is going to win. They're going to roll for now, at least until Thanksgiving when they play Detroit. I've got Chicago beating the Bucs, barely, in overtime.
I see the Bears beating the Buccaneers in a 45-41 game.
Wow, you're really thinking they have that bad of defenses?
Oh, yeah.
Next game, Bill.
Next up, the battle, the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, God. Bill, believe it or not, if the Cardinals beat the Seahawks, they will pretty much seal their division win. They will be done with their division before Thanksgiving, Bill. Imagine that. Can they do it, though? Bill, share me your thoughts first.
I believe that the Seahawks defense is very banged up, but I feel this is going to be a Detroit-style game where it's going to be very low scoring, and in those low-scoring games, Seattle always seems to pull it out. But I really feel that the Cardinals will win this one 13-10.
So is this upset of the week?
I don't call in one team beating a 6-4 team an upset.
All right. So the 12th man is going to be eternally pissed for the rest of the year, which they're the most whiny fans in my opinion. Just wanted to get that out there. But I have
Seattle Seahawks, another overtime game, winning it with Hauschka, a game-winning field goal of 50 yards.
Yep. Next up, the St. Louis Rams at the San Diego Chargers.
Bill, I want to believe the Rams could do something. I want to see them succeed, but I don't think they're going to screw around in this game as much as they had fun with the Broncos, but who knows? I could be wrong. The Rams were able to hang around with the Broncos. Surely they could do the same with San Diego, but I've got San Diego.
I got San Diego as well. They'll find a way to get past that defense.
They'll find a way. They usually do.
Next up, the Miami Dolphins at the Denver Broncos.
This one's actually a good game because let's be real, the Dolphins aren't that bad. They're just playing up against a legendary quarterback. I think this is going to be a defensive slugfest. It's going to end in 21-20 Denver.
And I believe this is a Denver Broncos win. They were humiliated. They're going to come out ready and fired up. Next up, the Washington football team at the San Francisco 49ers.
RG3 is going to get benched soon, but not this game. I just want him to get benched at the Colts game, because remember what you were talking about earlier? It was between RG3 and Andrew Luck. So I have the 49ers taking care of business 24-17.
The 49ers are going to laugh at RG3 as he throws 4 interceptions, and the 49ers win easily. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football.
Why are the New York Giants on Sunday night? They got shut out in their last Sunday night game. I don't know if it'll happen this time because it's at their place, but the Dallas Cowboys all rested up. Romo's okay. We've got something going again in Dallas. I have the Cowboys winning.
I can see them beating the New York Giants, yes. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys, but I mean, I think this could be a very close game. This is the Giants season on the line right here.
Oh yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing Giants fans crying after this. And by the way, Bill, before you go on, do you watch Game Grumps by any chance?
Not often.
One of the guys there, Danny, he likes the New York Giants. So I can't wait to see how he feels when Dallas beats them. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Go on, Bill. Next game.
Monday night game, the Baltimore Ravens at the New Orleans Saints.
I'm not giving the Saints the benefit of the doubt at home anymore. Ravens, this is my upset of the week. Saints are no longer invincible. Hell, all the teams we thought were invincible at home are no longer that case. It's now New England and Green Bay that are invincible at home, and Kansas City. I have the Ravens going into New Orleans and beating the Saints 31-10.
Correct. Alright, so next week is a special week, and it's the Thanksgiving.
Wait, you didn't say your pick.
I'm going Baltimore Ravens.
Any other reason? You got to press a score?
I feel like the Baltimore Ravens are going to win like 30-20. Drew Brees is just not having his sort of year.
To be fair,
you know?
Joe Flacco is silently doing alright, which, hell, his defense is doing some good work for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go on.
But next week is the Thanksgiving slate of games.
Oh, yeah.
So
There's 3 of them.
There's 3 of them, and they involve 2 of our teams.
Yep.
So it's the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, the Eagles at the Cowboys and the Seahawks and the... Bill, I don't even know if I'll be around till after Thanksgiving. Okay. So, may as well talk detailed about these in case. I don't know if I will be. Anyway.
Well, I feel Detroit's offense is way too good for the Bears' defense. Bears' defense is terrible, and the Lions' defense is amazing, and Jay Cutler likes throwing interceptions. So I have the Lions beating the Bears.
I have the Lions beating the Bears as well, but the Lions need to get their defensive act together. I mean, they likely have lost to the Patriots. This is the game they need to rebound and start winning everything else. Can't afford another loss, especially again with Green Bay in your division. I've got the Lions winning and keeping their playoff hopes alive.
Next up, Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. I feel that the Eagles, after a few tough weeks, are going to come out on national television and play really well against the Cowboys. They know that this is for first place, and I feel their offense is better than the Cowboys in a few facets of the game. They don't have Dez, but they have an offense that just works at a high frenetic pace. I believe they'll defeat the Cowboys in the end.
I have Dallas beating them once, and same with Philly, and I think Dallas will take care of business at home. So for now, Dallas will have first place at least until 2 weeks from now, where Dallas goes to Philly. I have Dallas winning this game, but they're in first place for now. But
And
Dallas and ironically, Dallas and Chicago play next week or the week after on a Thursday night game as well. So they got a whole week.
Yep.
That's what are the odds of going from a Thursday game to another Thursday game to a Sunday? That's pretty rare. Anyway, let's go with the final game.
it doesn't happen very often. And the final game is the defensive slugfest. The Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers.
Bill, I'm gonna be honest. This is going to be ugly. It's two teams struggling just to get into the Cardinals' face in their way. Whoever loses here is going to likely not get in the playoffs. And for now, I say 49ers above all else right now. They're playing mediocre somewhat, except for that last game. I have Seattle winning in overtime.
I have Seattle winning like a 9-7 game. It's going to be just a brutal game to watch.
Didn't that happen last year? No, wait, that was
Some be-
Carolina. That was Carolina when they played San Fran.
Yeah, it was something brutal like that.
All right, we got our three Thursday games.
Thanksgiving.
Yep, Thanksgiving. So we'll probably be back after Thanksgiving. I don't know. I might be able to record at that time. So we'll see. Anyway,
Yep.
anything else you'd like to note, Bill?
Nothing of note.
I really feel bad for the Lions. They're not having a good week this week, and they're not gonna have a good week next week until Thanksgiving. Anyway, I think that's all for this week. We will see you guys either slightly before or after Thanksgiving. Hope you all have a good Thanksgiving and enjoy your rest. You're gonna need it, especially if you're in college, because
Oh.
finals are soon.
Oh, man.
Anyway, we will see you guys next week. Feel free to share your picks as well. See you guys next week.